What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Before I get into the story, I want to give a special shout out to Miss Antoinette Boyd for always supporting the channel. We definitely appreciate your love and support. With that being said, let's get right into the story. When most people decide to get into a relationship, it's usually because they feel comfortable with the other person. They feel like they know who they are dealing with. They can trust them and that their partner has their best interests at heart. In the beginning stages, most couples start off good. The late night talks, all in love, want to be under each other 24/7. And we think to ourselves, this person really loves me and is down. But it's easy to play nice and be in love when things are going good. Most of the time, you really never know what type of individual you are really dealing with until things start going bad. That's when the mask comes off. They could be jealous, controlling, like to fight, talk reckless out their mouth. But once the argument and storm is over, for most, they make up, might joke about it, like shorty, you crazy. You be geeking when you mad, thinking it's cute. Now that everything is back to normal. But we never really ask ourselves, if they get that mad over a petty situation, what are they willing to do over something serious? But life goes on. And besides, real love is caring, understanding, and dealing with a person, flaws and all. Over time, some people might not even have the same feelings for each other they once had. But now they in too deep. This person is their comfort zone, and who they feel truly has their back. But the cold part about life though, is that you can be 100 with a person, want the best for them, but we really never know how they truly feel about us. And sometimes the ones we love the most and are the closest to us are our biggest threat. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to discuss the case of a woman who made a call to backdoor her boyfriend after a petty argument. Back in 2023, 19-year-old Elliot Corbin was a young man navigating life in PA. Said to always have a smile on his face, being in good spirits, the young man brought that energy around everybody he came in contact with. Elliot was a typical teenager. He liked hanging out with friends, cooling at Water Street Park, a local park around his way, where him and his homeboys would talk, rap, or freestyle all day, just having fun. But the young man also had big dreams. Very much into cars and motorcycles, he hoped one day he could open his own auto shop. Even though he had no wheels yet himself, he was saving up to buy his dream car. Outside of that, he was also in a committed relationship with, at the time, a 19-year-old young lady named Joy Cleveland. The young couple were locked in. They were always together, hanging out at Elliot's apartment located on the 400 block of South Prince Street. But of course, both young, barely out of high school, the two would break up to make up, have fights, and be right back together again. But as the new year approached, around about January 2024, the arguments became more intense. On January 6th, Joy and Elliot were at the apartment, just cooling. It was cold outside, so they stayed in that day. Later that evening though, they would get into a heated argument, back and forth, to the point Elliot told her, like, yo, you gotta roll out. I'm not trying to be fighting with you all day. Eventually, Joy did leave, but the young lady was upset. She started texting Elliot and accusing him of putting hands on her. He texted back like, you geeking, I didn't touch you. But she insisted he did. They talked about it through text, and she told him he should come outside to the balcony. About an hour would go by as the two were still texting, with Joy still trying to convince Elliot to come outside. Feeling like she was plotting something, he texted like, nah, I'm good. I think you trying to get me smoked. But against his better judgment, eventually he would go outside to see what his girlfriend wanted. After he walked out, a few more texts came through. Then seconds later, multiple shots went off, and the person wearing dark clothes was seen running up the block. Police was called around about 5:30 p.m. to shots fired. When they got to the scene, they found Elliot suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, he wouldn't survive his injuries. At first, police thought maybe a stray bullet hit the young man as he was standing outside. The only evidence they had was his cell phone and surveillance cameras from the area. Elliot's family were devastated that the young man's life was cut short, and they didn't know why, but soon they would get answers. Police saw the text messages and his phone from Joy, telling him to step outside, and him being concerned she was trying to get him shot. Surveillance footage from the area also tracked the alleged shooter's steps all the way from Elliot's apartment to a house not too far away. The young man who lived in the home was Tyjon Ville, and even though he fit the description of the shooter, detectives still needed more and a motive. But the streets were talking, and police got a tip stating Joy got Elliot shot and the person who did it was her cousin, and they stated it was 20-year-old Tyjon. Now able to link the two together, police picked up both and took them in for questioning. They both denied having anything to do with the shooting, and Joy claimed she went home and called her cousin, who was also home, just to vent about the situation. But with text messages and footage from the area, both cousins were taken into custody and charged with the murder of Elliot. Police had one problem though. Tyjon's phone never left the house. He was in fact talking to Joy as a call came in a few minutes before the shooting, and records showed the two kept talking even minutes after. Confused, police quickly realized Tyjon had a girlfriend, 19-year-old Jelani Morales, who also lived with him at the same home he ran to. They determined it was all an elaborate plot. Joy called her cousin after the fight with Elliot. Tyjon scrapped up, told Jelani to call Joy so police would think he was home the whole time. But they didn't think about the city cameras tracking Tyjon's steps from Elliot's house all the way back home. A warrant was soon put out for Jelani, as police determined she knew about the plan, the shooting, and tried to help cover it up. She turned herself in days later and was questioned about the situation. At first, she denied having Tyjon's phone or knowing anything about what Joy and Elliot had going on. But as police let it be known, the plan wasn't as smart as they thought. She admitted to being the one talking to Joy on the phone, while Tyjon was out the house. With that, Jelani was also taken into custody, charged with tampering with evidence and conspiracy to commit a hit. On March 24th of this year, in order to duck a life sentence, Joy entered a guilty plea to the lesser charge of third-degree hit, which carries a minimum of 20 years and a max of 40 years. She is still waiting to be sentenced. Tyjon and Jelani are still waiting for their day in court, and both are innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Elliot. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I can't even say Shorty never would have thought Joy would hurt him, because he knew something wasn't right. He said, "You trying to get me smoked," but against his better judgment, he still walked outside. I'm not sure if he really put his hands on her or not, but in Tyjon's case, I'm sure we all got family members who, if they tell us they are in harm's way, it'll be no more talking. We coming. But you also got to know the situation and the type of person your family member is. Now, he possibly just threw his whole life away because of his cousin got into a petty argument with her boyfriend. Jelani herself might make out and either walk or not get that much time because she was just caught in the mix, trying to be a loyal girlfriend. But that also cost her freedom as well. At the end of the day, one life gone and 3 more affected by one phone call. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on the situation. And have you yourself ever been in a relationship with somebody you thought to yourself, like, yeah, I gotta watch this person. They might hurt me or get me hurt. Let me know your experiences in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to Elliot. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of Hood Tales. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.